slinging my banging my swinging my coupe, DeVille, scoop, DeVille, like that.
Welcome to Tuesday night segment of In the Know, where we talk about what's going on in the world around us, as well as what's happening right here in our own community. So please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And please stay with us as we continue to keep you in the know. So Candace Owens, we're all familiar with Candace. She's found herself smack dab in the middle of controversy once again. This time regarding a children's cartoon, The Muppet Babies. Let's go ahead and see what Candace had to say in her tweet. I cannot believe I'm tweeting this, but they are pushing the trans agenda on children via Muppet Babies. This is sick and perverted. Everyone should be disturbed by predatory cartoons meant to usher children into gender dysphoria. Bring back manly Muppets, anyone?
And you realize they know that children's brains are developing. They want them to know it's an option. Kids are monkey see, monkey do. Yep. So this, to me, is a direct attack on children. This is predatorial, in my opinion.
Wow. True or false? Do we think that Candace is overreacting? Is this programming our children? I mean, what do you guys think?
Candace always overreacts.
I think Candace on point with this one.
She's definitely on point
She
with
on
this
point
one.
with this one. I got to give it to Candace. And you know, I don't agree with her on much of anything.
Right.
But this one, we in agreement.
She's
Okay,
definitely
who's
on point.
who's the audience? Who's the audience for
She's
this
on
show?
point. She's
The
valid.
target audience for the Muppet Babies, you know, because this has been around since the 80s, is
Right.
4 to 7 years of age.
Well, I'm just asking because I know they have a lot of adult cartoons.
Right,
No,
yep.
this
This
is not
isn't
an
one of
adult
them.
cartoon.
This isn't one of them.
Title is Muppet,
Muppet
Babies.
Babies. Muppet Babies, period.
Okay.
And,
I mean-
for those who haven't seen the video, you know, just kind of briefly, what is the guy's name? Gonzo. So Gonzo puts on a dress and turns into Gonzarella, right?
Mhm.
So basically, a lot of people are saying that the message is saying, you know, to accept everyone. Accept everyone. Candace, on the other hand, has a different opinion, which I tend to agree with her
I
opinion.
agree with her wholeheartedly on this one too.
But what
I
do
agree with the acceptance part, but how they're trying to sandwich everything in there,
I get
it's
it?
just not right.
But I mean, how do you fight this when you have couples getting same-sex couples getting married and raising children? What do you expect them to be watching?
I mean, but
on
you say,
TV.
how do you fight it? But you have to still have those walls to protect children.
Yes.
We have diluted and broke those walls and tore those walls down.
Look how long ago, and
No,
I'm
we can't-
sorry to say,
But a young, innocent mind 20 years ago is still a young, innocent mind today.
I wholeheartedly.
But-
Reality,
okay,
that does not
okay.
change.
that's true. But the parent has to control what the child watches.
That's
You
true.
don't have to watch that. Turn the channel.
But
Yeah, I
as a
think, but
parent,
what
are you
we're
mindful
talking
that they're
about-
gonna show that?
Yeah. It's the intentional marketing and the pushing and the
Okay.
consistent
Music.
badgering.
Music.
But here's the other
commercials.
subliminal.
I
I mean, you have to understand, as a parent, if you don't want that in your life, in your child's life, you don't want them to force it on them as well.
Music.
My child might like the
Commercials.
Muppet Babies, so at the end of the day, I don't want somebody else to force something onto my child.
Right.
I get
And
it.
you're
But you
talking
can listen
about-
to the radio, TV,
understand that.
everywhere we go.
I understand that, but when you deliberately forcing it,
This is the world we
When you
live
take-
in.
when you
That's
take
how
it-
come. The parent has to boss up.
Okay, so
they
let's,
have to be responsible
Dr.
for
V,
what's
you
on the
educate
TV.
us. The way the world is and listening
The
to
way the
your
world
perspective,
is.
can you educate us on what's the sense of normalcy today or how the world should react to how things are going?
We have a full rainbow parade. We have people, priests getting in trouble for not marrying the same sex.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because here's my second point. So, also, a brief part of the cartoon that's aimed 4 to 7 years of age talks about taking the royal book, which I perceive
Mhm.
as the Bible, and basically throwing it away. And that happens. So to me, that says we're going to throw away the old way that we've done it and adapt to this new way. So you
Okay.
are not accepting, you are replacing, in my opinion.
So
Okay.
So
So
what's the
there's a
royal
royal book.
What is that?
yeah, it's a royal book.
What is that?
Okay, that's the school system throwing out the Bible. When
Exactly.
they took,
So I mean, basically, you taking the morals out of.
they've been doing it forever.
Exactly.
This is
So
not
why?
new.
I mean, but they keep doing it, and they forcing it, and they're making it stronger and stronger. But as soon as we fight back on it, we're the problem.
And we can't stay here long, but before we
Yeah.
leave this, what should a child at that age be focused on?
Children's stuff, ABCs, colors.
The conversation we're having right now
Mm.
has nothing to do with a young mind.
Nothing.
So, which means the adults, the people that are doing this,
Mhm.
we're the problem.
That's right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Reality.
Right, absolutely.
The
So
producer,
we're- yeah,
whoever let
correct.
it go. I
And they
agree
say
with
the
that.
producer's a straight guy with a family and living a normal life. And so
I'm sorry.
there
You
are
don't
no
have any-
answers right now but prayer
Yeah.
and trying to keep the royal book on the shelf.
Right. So I think we're all in agreement that, what Candace said was true this time.
True.
Speaking of school,
Yeah.
so
I
the Black
think so.
Panthers have made their way into Fort Wayne, and they're calling themselves I believe the original Fort Wayne Black Panthers. Small group of gentlemen who said that they're ready to hit the ground running. So they had a book bag drive recently. I think they gave away 50
Correct.
book bags full of supplies.
I think, and that's wonderful. I would like to know when you said the original, I would like to know the origin of the Black Panthers because I don't believe a lot of people know, especially young people today.
Right. And I think, too, the association. I mean, a lot of people are not educated about what the Black Panthers were in the first place. They just have a very small minded opinion.
Exactly.
So, it would be interesting, too, to talk to these guys. I know we've already had one of the young gentlemen, in our studio before. So we are going to keep you up to date on, what they're doing. But straight out of the gate, I think this is an awesome thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
And if you a brief synopsis, they were starting in Oakland, California. They are the Black Panther Party for self-defense, which means they were protecting their neighborhood against any enemies that was affecting their community, and they were building up their community. Check out their creed. Look at the Black Panther Party creed, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know about the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
there
So
were
we
quite
can
a
Google
few,
that.
There were quite a few other organizations that supported our youth going back to school.
There were.
also
There were
in the
actually
city.
so many. So I just wanted to mention a few. The Learn Resource Center, Community Baptist Church, the Impact Center, the EKQ, Educational Kings and Queens Organization. So if you were a part of this, even not mentioned, we thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very awesome thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crime. Southeast part of town.
Crime.
We talk about it a lot.
Oh,
Crime
yeah,
is down.
It's going down.
Crime is down.
Crime is down.
In the southeast part of town, that's what Fort Wayne Police Department is reporting.
Not true.
So there are some people who are in the community in the southeast part of town who had something different to say.
For sure.
Based on recent statistics provided by Fort Wayne Police, crime is down by 25% in the southeast of Fort Wayne. But do residents agree?
Them stats lying. Them stats lying all day. I don't see anything going down. Do you?
I agree with her. That's a lie.
Right.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
It's a lie.
I still hear.
As a person that stay on the south side of town, southeast side of town, I hear shots every night. So and I live on a busy street.
Mhm.
So I see the police all the time shooting up and down the street I stay on.
But shooting or driving up and down the street.
No, they literally
Somebody shoot.
no, they literally they sirens is going all through the night.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me crime is down on the southeast side of town, why do I hear so many sirens in the middle of the night?
Right. Well, I think even right after they reported that, there was one shooting, two shooting. I mean, bam, bam, bam.
Mhm.
So if that's not the case, what's the agenda with reporting that the crime is down in the first place when people who live on that side of town know that it's not?
Well, let's be honest. It's a business move. That's why they're doing it. They're planning this new
Business or political?
both,
Both.
because
Yeah.
they're planning this new housing edition or low-income
Mhm.
housing thing, and they have houses in Fort Wayne right now that are not being sold, and they're just trying to make it sound good. So how do you
All
attract
of a
people?
sudden.
You say crime has gone down. So
Right.
it's
Well, honestly, if they want to really attract people, put businesses that we actually need on this side of town. I'm just saying.
That too.
I mean, but like C-Stats saying, before you do that, you have to change the narrative.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the narrative is the most pertinent aspect of that conversation
Yes.
and how they're reporting.
Yes.
So when they say that crime is down, what is it, 25%?
Yes. That's what
And
they
then
say.
it immediately goes to how they wrote that report for that month,
Right.
for their reporting.
Right.
So verbiage, I could tell you I'm broke, but be a millionaire.
Right. Because you're broke in your eyes. How you report.
You understand?
And
So
who's
it's an illusion.
telling the story.
It's an illusion in the
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
So I think as a panel, we can all say that when the police report that crime has went down in the southeast part of Fort Wayne, our answer is
Prove it.
False.
False.
absolutely
All the
false.
way
Absolutely
false.
I say no, sir. I don't say false. I say prove it.
That's a good point.
That's good too.
We'll end on that. We'll end on
Prove
that.
it.
Dr. B, where your javelin at? You can kick him out of
Somebody
your
took it
courtroom
from-
right now. Get him out of here.
Wow. I'm just saying you prove it.
Let's move right into something that it seems like we've been talking about forever and a day. Masks in school. So right now,
Oh,
Fort
man.
Wayne Community Schools is the only school system in Allen County that has mandated the children to wear a mask.
That's right. And I'm wearing
Do we
one.
agree?
Oh yeah, we're mandated.
Dr. B is part of that, right?
I'm a part of it,
Mhm.
wearing it every day, and the students supposedly. But the problem is, people wear the mask and they kind of wear it under their,
Yes.
their mouth and nose. So now it's a chin strap. So it's not really happening.
They said weird. They didn't say how to wear it.
Are people still catching the virus, Dr. B? in the
People are
school
still
system?
catching
Even
it.
with the mask?
Yes. So I have someone right now that has it.
I have an issue with that because the schools got shut down early last year, correct?
Mhm.
Correct.
But the masks were mandated last year also, correct?
were.
Yeah, my daughter had to wear a mask at school last
Yeah,
year.
Fort Wayne Community School. was
So
mandated.
basically, the COVID survival rate for children is 99.99%.
Mhm.
I'm confused. I'm confused. So I disagree.
This
I
whole
disagree with the
scenario is
mandate. I think it should be a parent choice. And if our kids are not safe without wearing a muzzle at school, maybe they shouldn't be there. So
True that.
Okay.
Right.
Good point.
Hallelujah.
Well, I agree with that. But, everybody is not in a position to get the vaccine
mhm.
because I think a lot of people overlook the people with the underlying health conditions. And so I don't think it's fair for them to be put in that position.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, I'm asking
there's
you,
two sides to this.
it's not fair to be force somebody to put a muzzle on their face because of somebody else. I mean, you have to look at it on both ends. Why do I have to walk around with a muzzle on my face to make somebody else feel comfortable?
If you trust the process, I
Trust
understand
what's
what you're saying.
process. They haven't gave you no process.
Right, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying if you trust your immune system,
But is
and
it a
you feel
process
like
or
you're
is
safe.
So,
An
so
agenda.
somebody else is telling me I have to put something on my face because somebody else don't trust their immune system.
I get what you're
I'm
saying.
just,
And we
I'm
can
just
go
being
on.
realistic
when
about it.
you look at it from both sides, either parent could keep their kid at home.
I mean, I
So,
understand.
but I'm
that,
saying
but
to keep the majority of people safe, then I say
how is that
that's
keeping the
right.
majority of the people safe and people are still getting sick behind, even with putting on masks?
right? I
Like
really
I
don't think
said,
anybody
to
has
So
the
keep
answer.
make it make
Safe.
sense. That's all you
know,
get.
And
it
COVID doesn't make sense.
So question
No.
before we wrap that up.
It-
Did the
It is what it is.
FDA just now approve Pfizer's
100%
vaccine?
today.
Yes.
Is that true? Is that
today.
reality?
That's true.
So if they release that in the media, the mainstream media, saying this might influence those that have been hesitant to take the vaccine,
Mhm.
Yes, that's what it is.
wasn't that kind of backwards? But we can move on. We ain't even got to talk about
Yeah, that's
that.
a
That's
whole
just for our viewers to
different.
think
That's
about.
a whole different discussion.
Let's go on down the line.
We,
So-
we can't touch it this one.
No, let's go on down the
Okay.
line. Come on.
Yes,
come on,
that
Jay.
opens up another whole can of worms.
A can of worms.
So
Yeah,
the Black
yeah,
Chamber
I
of
feel it.
Commerce in Fort Wayne, we went out to their event, actually their last
Awesome.
board meeting, and we did speak to quite a few people out there. So they had an unveiling of the website, I believe, the name,
Yes.
the actual name change,
The Black
the directory, which we're
Yes.
going to talk about, the Black directory with over 500 businesses. So I know we have a little bit of footage on that as well. So let's go ahead and get to that.
Our belief is that rising tide raises all boats. And with that, we need to have a strong, vibrant, herd community of color, right? And oftentimes that does not happen. And so a lot of the organizations are struggling for leadership also at this particular point in time. And, just being on boards, not necessarily the executive director role, but just being on boards and things like that. And so any way that we can help, we're willing to do that. We want to do some work with it's planned that we'll do some work in the future with the Fort Wayne Urban League.
I think it's very, very important that you do not be afraid to take a chance. You have to stick your neck out. You never see a turtle moving with his head in his shell. Once he sticks his head out of the shell, he moves. That's what it's about. You got to stick your neck out. It might get chopped off or any number of things. Don't allow fear to control you. When we started the chamber, when it's still existing today, I wasn't concerned about stepping down, from my role because I knew Clifford would still carry on. And then do not be afraid somebody's going to do a greater job than you, because that's what you want to happen. You want a person to come along, not to be, because you're not going to be identical, but they can come and rise above that. And the community needs to know that and leave a legacy that people can say and will say that you did a good job.
Great advice.
I love that. You just painted a picture
Yeah,
of passing the baton, running that race.
That was a good event.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
like what the Black Chamber is doing. And as Jill mentioned going into that, I spoke to the gentleman that was putting the directory together, and I thought we had a coverage. Like, they have gathered in a directory, which is a phone book, which is odd because I thought they got rid of phone books. But they have a directory of 500 Black businesses, nonprofit organizations, and churches. 500. They didn't say exactly where in the city they all work, but I just say 500 Black businesses and organizations.
Who knew?
First of all, who knew?
Wow.
Who knew?
That's
It's
it.
good, it's good that we know now.
Yeah.
And now that we know, can we unite and do something in a business
Together.
format?
Come on,
Together.
come on.
Business, let's get together. Join the Black Chamber of Commerce, let's get together. Let's keep money in our community. Let's keep money here. Let's keep moving money in our community. Let's make something happen. We can be a force if we want to. We got the numbers.
That's
Let's
right.
make it a force.
Yes,
So can
I
you break
agree
that
with
down real quick? See stats before we move on. We have 500 plus businesses.
And
And-
while he said in the combination is 500 businesses, nonprofit organization, and churches combined. They have over 500 entries in the directory.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yes.
Great. So let's take it out of the city for a second and talk Afghanistan.
Oh, no.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
We got some video footage for
We
that
do.
as well.
Man.
Yeah, let's check that out.
We cannot continue the cycle of extending or expanding our military presence in Afghanistan, hoping to create ideal conditions for the withdrawal and expecting a different result. I'm now the fourth United States president to preside over Afghanistan. 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. I will not pass this responsibility on to a fifth.
Yes, yes.
Did we do the right thing? Did Biden do the right thing?
It's hard to weigh that. Let me share some things with you guys. So I kind of took some notes on this. So let's talk about Afghanistan first, the civilians. 47,245 killed. That's reported. Troops killed, 66,000 to 69,000. That's reported. Afghans forced to flee abroad, mostly to Iran, Pakistan, and Europe. 2.7 million civilians displaced. 4 million displaced. That's Afghanistan. Let's talk about America. U.S. 2,442 U.S. troops were killed. That was reported. 20,666 wounded from being in Afghanistan. This will blow your mind right here. Estimated over $300 million per day for 2 decades.
Wait,
The question
300
per day, total dollar value that's reported, $2.6 trillion of American taxpayers' money.
No wonder we can't get anything.
So the question is, did we do the right thing? Well, when you look at the civilians and the people of Afghanistan, you have to feel some kind of way,
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
you know, if you're human.
Yes.
But then when you weigh what you're dealing with for your own country,
Yes.
you got to take care of home first, right?
That's
I
right.
think every human would agree with that.
Correct.
So I'm going to say we did the right thing.
Yes.
But every human don't agree with that. But I happen to agree with that.
Right. Right.
When you say those numbers, my mind can't even wrap around what that could have even been used for per day.
We talking about fuel, weaponry,
Right, 300.
clothing,
Can you say that number again? 300 million per day.
300 million per day.
300.
So just imagine you spend $300 million per day in the United States, just
Yeah.
on the
Yes.
on your vets that's homeless,
And I was gonna say
Right.
on your vets that can't
and
that don't
homeless.
have,
Period.
Yeah, and it's homeless period.
Yes.
But let's just start with the people that actually
Yes.
fought for their country. So if you spent $300 million just on them that fought for our country, that's homeless, that doesn't have good. I mean, they have their health care. I'm just gonna say their health care. If you spent that money on them, just how much better we could have been.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And-
just the military. That's
We could do so
Vets.
much more. You talking about
come on.
so much. Let me change the narrative. The president, in his words, said that he did not want to pass that responsibility on to the next guy. Those were his words, right? This brother, President Obama, number 46, that's what they call him, right? Okay. He's saying that this has been America's longest war,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna
You're
say-
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Biden.
America's
is 46.
longest war.
We talking about Biden or Obama?
No. Biden is
Biden
46.
is 46.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Because Trump was 45.
45. Yes.
Because he had that gun, the 45 with his picture on it.
Right.
But Biden says that this has been America's longest fighting war, ongoing war. I disagree. Because we still have drugs, guns, money laundering. But the most important and relevant thing to me is race. The president stands up here, take the responsibility, and not pass the buck on to the next one. America has never taken ownership of
Right.
what they did to Black America.
Right.
So
Come
for
on,
me
come on.
to number 46, take ownership of that.
Right.
Stand up and take ownership and don't pass that on to number 47.
Right.
Adjust what needs to be adjusted for Black America. Remove your systems out of the way. Repair them so that we, Black America, that helped build this country, can live freely.
Right. Right. I agree.
Can we move on to the
We can
next?
move
And after
Rise
that sermon, that was pretty
Rise
powerful. So I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit.
I need the collection plate.
And I just want to say too, to piggyback off of that real quick, a lot of times things like this is about perspective. Because if you saw the video the other day of the people hanging off
I
the
was gonna
planes,
say,
you
that's
know, they
why
would
my heart
rather
was
hang off a
breaking.
plane and die. So that gets you in your emotions. But then when you hear the numbers, like they were just presented. It gives you a completely different perspective. So, I mean, once again, the media just plays a huge role in how we feel without doing our research.
That's true. I have one other point real quick about that, Afghanistan. Now, all these people that got on the planes to fly wherever they're flying to, how do we know that that's not the Taliban? I'm just saying, we just let everybody on the plane.
Get on the bus, huh?
You just
Get on the bus,
a
huh?
whole nother conversation.
That is a whole nother
That's a
show.
whole nother
We
situation.
gonna go
You're
back on
absolutely
that one.
right.
We'll save that for
Yes.
the next.
Very good question. The NFL started off with a bang this year. We're going to talk a little bit about it.
Oh.
I think we've got a video.
She hit him first.
Yeah, she slapped him in his face.
Get his glasses. Somebody get his glasses.
All right. Here's the question. True or false? That was self-defense.
My face hurt.
Boys? Speaking of self-defense.
Yes, it was. But I want to hear.
No.
Age before beauty. Go ahead.
Wait, you said yes, right?
Yeah.
So
I want
true.
to argue your point because I got video evidence.
Okay, go ahead. No. I want you to go. I want you to go.
Please argue your point.
Go.
We don't have all night, gentlemen.
We don't have
Okay,
all
we've
night.
got one.
Stats.
Go ahead.
Go.
Okay. It was not self-defense.
Okay, go ahead.
It was absolutely not self-defense. That gentleman physically assaulted that woman first. You have to watch the video. I watched the video over and over and over. He physically assaulted that woman. She deserved to slap the taste out his mouth.
Can I interrupt you 1 second? There is always one brother to sell out the race.
Here you go. You took some of my thunder. You took some of my thunder. You took some. You took some of my thunder. No. You didn't say it your piece.
No. I just got to clear something up. It's not selling out the race. This
I'm
is
just joking, bro.
No. And I know people are going to say that. But my thing
You
is,
started
I
off
do not condone violence against women, period.
But then women shouldn't be
Hold on,
violent
hold on.
towards
No,
men.
She was not violent to him.
Clarence.
Watch the video.
Clarence, you watched the video. Hold on.
Can I finish my point?
Oh, my
Can I
goodness.
finish
You
my
did
point?
finish your point.
No, I didn't.
NFL
Yeah, time out.
signals.
Time out.
Okay.
Time out. Where your javelin at, Dobby? You got to keep that
I
on
gotta
the side.
get it. I gotta get it.
Let me in. I'll let you say your point. Let me in.
Can
You
I
said
say-
watch
no,
the
hold
video.
On. Let me finish my point. If you rewatch the video, the lady is pointing with her right hand. She gets pushed. She comes back and grabs his hand with her hand. That's when he punches. That's when she slaps him. After she grabs his hand, she slaps him. That's when she punched him. Watch the video. Undisputable evidence. If that went to court today, that brother would be prosecuted for physically assaulting that woman.
Only thing I say is we don't know all the before and after and what caused it, and it's a good opinion. In reality, if you strike a man in the face like that, she was disrespectful to whoever that gentleman was that was sitting down.
I agree with that.
In public to say sit down and shut up
I agree with that.
to a man, it was a problem already.
I'm not
So
disagreeing.
we don't
with
know
that
if she
point.
had been drinking or not.
Well,
I'm not
I mean,
disagreeing that
Clarence,
point.
why
Watch
you
the video. That's
Clarence,
all I
why
can-
you say she was pointing the other way? She actually had her hand on him first. Let me finish. Hush. And he pushed her hand off of him. Yes, she did. And then she slapped him. Now, second of all, I'm about to give that man all the kudos in the world because he thought about it and pulled back
Yes,
before he swung
That's
on
true.
it.
That's because he knew he was
No,
wrong.
no. He
didn't.
No, he didn't.
He did
thought
take his
about
time.
it. He stopped.
Because he
Clarence,
was wrong.
Clarence, he stopped.
All right.
And then when she jumped back up, when her husband or whoever was next to him jumped up, Now, okay, I'm gonna give you what you supposed to got when from the word go.
Guys, check
Seems
this
like
out.
you're gonna have to look at it again.
I tell you, the brother was so cool, man, because after she slapped him, he stepped back, took his glasses off.
Yeah, that's
and
super,
did like
super,
this.
super important.
So,
He took
hey,
his
the
glasses
brother
off.
was there. He was a good dude. I got to say that. He tried to
He got what he
restrain.
deserved.
No,
I
he-
stand
he-
on that. I stand
He
on
got what he deserved. So
got what
so
he
so
deserved.
did the man that stood up and tried to jump jump and help her. They both got what they deserved.
The man got what he deserved jumping in, but the black
Both
man
of them got what they
deserved.
deserved.
Let's talk
Period.
about Shikari. Let's talk about Miss Shikari.
Yes.
This is also all over the news. So if you kind of want to explain a little bit about what we're going to go into in regards to Shikari. Are we talking about the race? Are we talking
No,
about the
I
interview?
mean, first and foremost, she came back, she got destroyed. No, that's fine. That happens in track and field. One day I could beat you, and the next day you could beat me. That happens in track and field, if you know anything about that sport. So that's nothing.
So
She
what-
can come
what are we
back next
doing?
week and step on them.
Encouraging her? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're gonna encourage her. But the conversation of her interview, her interview was absolutely horrible. That's why we need more sisters to stand with her, to show her how to conduct herself.
Since
You know, in that arena. Period. I mean, Ricky Smiley even reached out and said, "Contact me. Hey, I'll be your management,
yes.
so we can teach you and show you how to conduct yourself."
So sportsmanship, basically.
It's not even sportsmanship.
That's sportsmanship
and
It's just
etiquette.
It's
Yeah.
etiquette.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not to down her
Yep.
because she's 20. She might not know. That's fine. But the backlash and everybody talking about her, no. Instead of talking about it, encourage her.
Correct. I agree.
Yes.
Understand, correct her in private. Pull her off to the side. Hey, this is what we need to do.
Yes, I agree.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Good
think we
stuff.
can all agree with that.
I totally agree.
So, have you guys seen all of the trucks all over town? I believe.
Oh my
How many?
goodness.
How many trucks? Let's
I don't
say.
know if you're in Arlington, Texas, maybe 10,579 beautiful SUVs. The what I call the houses that's on the roads, the Escalades and Yukons and
the big
things like
boys.
that. Yeah, just sitting waiting on a chip.
But if
Chill.
you're
Yeah.
in Fort Wayne,
And in Fort Wayne, oh my goodness, I think what? How many we got in Fort Wayne?
15,000.
15,000.
that's your trucks.
We talking about 1,000 trucks per day being set aside. They coming off the carrier, going to another parking lot
Right.
to sit for the chip. And so now the bad part is 9% down. We talking about going into the layoff,
Right.
you know, and that's the bad part. So for a lot of the different plants, especially in Indiana, but yeah, so it's unfortunate.
Do we know what the issue is with the chip? I
They
mean,
can't
do
get them
we?
in the country apparently.
Shipping.
Yeah. they
Yeah,
can't
that's
get
going to
them
be
in
a
the country.
disaster when.
The shipping, the manufacturer.
No, just can't get them in
They
there.
just can't get
they
them
say
in
the
the country.
entire auto industry, man, will not be leveled out to any sense of normalcy until 2022 sometime.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what they're saying.
Man, so will the truck still be new in 22?
Yeah, you have to wonder that. You have to wonder that, or how long are they going to be sitting there?
I was gonna say sound like some big discounts.
Yeah, there you go.
Right,
I
right.
don't think so.
Oh,
They're gonna try to they're gonna try to recoup all their money back. And them trucks gonna still be the same price as they normally would be. I guarantee.
Yeah, they
it's
better
gonna
give
be
some
fair.
discounts to get rid of them.
Wow.
Let's talk Amazon. Amazon.
Okay, so that's interesting. Amazon coming to Fort Wayne. We're here. They've been here. Interestingly, Amazon has given already put in $13 million within a decade to Indiana because they have different plants.
Right.
And so, you know, what I'm excited about is the jobs that they will create.
Absolutely.
So they are committed to creating jobs in our community. So kudos to Amazon. But on the other side of that, Sharon Tucker, our councilwoman, she was like, we're not doing a tax break. We already gave them a break. $16,000 property tax break already. But the point is, they had already promised them $7.3 million as far as a discount.
Right.
as far as their agreement coming here. But Sharon Tucker says because she believes, and I don't know, I want to know how you guys feel about it. She says, hey, this company can afford to pay this money.
Mm-hmm.
So 16 million already, that's enough.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Well, I think if you're going to give one, you're going to give them all. They just gave those people that's going to build those low-income housing apartments over there, they just gave them a big tax break. So where do you draw the line? Where do you stand? If you're going to tax them all, tax them all. If you're going to break them all, break them all. You can't, but I think they should have taxed the people that's building in this neighborhood where they say the property taxes are down, but they gave them a break, so.
All in all, Amazon is definitely a plus to this city, to our communities, better paying jobs, and plenty of them.
Yeah, I think they said like 1,000 estimated.
Yes.
That's
So
a lot of jobs.
I would give them a tax break just because they making sure people are working. Now, it's not. Now, if you don't want to go to work, that's on them. But it's not like there's no job for you to go get, and they're actually paying well.
And they're coming in at that $15 an hour and up. Right.
Yeah.
So.
So you paying well, so you can get paid. At the end of the day, give them a break.
Right. And you're getting your packages the next day.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Sure.
Next day.
Yes.
They own it the next day.
And the benefits, etc. But, so not sure how far this goes, but Sharon also says that she doesn't like the way they treat their employees. So
I've heard that. I've heard that overall.
I've heard that overall with them.
Interesting. We might have to dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So we do have some local inspiration to close the night out. I know that we were out for a book signing. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some footage from the book signing.
Yes, that book is by local author Christopher Elliott. He's a high school teacher here in Fort Wayne at Bishop Lurie High School, I believe. Mm-hmm. But he said he started writing this book before the dream, and it's about Dr. King's visit here to Fort Wayne in 1963. It was right before the March on Washington. And he's a history man, so he was enthralled by the history, and he decided to write it, but he couldn't find time. Pandemic gave us one good thing. He sat down and he wrote the book, and he found time to write the book. But he has aspirations after the book. His main aspiration now is the fight to change Calhoun Street, where we're sitting at right now. He wants to change Calhoun Street from Calhoun to the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. History of John Calhoun, most people don't know. There was no slavery in the North, right? That's wrong. John Calhoun was a slave owner and a slave trader. So he wants to change the name from Calhoun to Martin Luther King Boulevard. I hope that happens. And, it would be good. We got a bridge, and I think every metropolitan city has a Martin Luther King Street or Boulevard. So it would be a great thing to honor him with that.
Yeah, it really would. Especially on the south side of town, southeast side of town.
Right.
Absolutely.
Correct. I think while we were at that book signing, we got a chance to talk to Pastor Bill McGill as well, correct?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And we're going to play the clip, but he paid homage to Mr. Elliott for writing the book, but he also talked about not settling and continuing the fight about the dream that Dr. King had.
Correct.
So if we could watch that and Bill McGill words, or Pastor Bill McGill's words.
Well, again, I'm excited about the book. Brother Elliott talked with me a couple of times. We emailed back and forth about Dr. King's visit here, though I was not here. Of course, I've been actively involved in his legacy, if you will, for a couple of decades. So I was excited to be a part of this project and just wanted to bid him well in going forth with trying to provide a scholarly approach to Dr. King's visit to our city. Well, in so many ways, we have not gained as much ground as we should have. When Dr. King's son was here, he asked me what was the political climate of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And at that point, when he came, I said, well, when your father came, there was one black on the city council. Here we are 50 years later, there's still only one black on the city council. 2 months after his visit, of course, we elected Sharon Tucker and Michelle Chambers, but it's still so little, so late to the table. It takes Fort Wayne seemingly much longer than it takes some other urban cities. And Indiana is another vehicle unto itself. You know, the last lynching in America, recorded lynching in Marion, of course, largest Ku Klux Klan gathering in American history in Kokomo. The reigning supreme wizard of the KKK lives up the street in Auburn. These are difficult days and difficult places. Yeah, and I support anything that heightens the level of understanding and awareness and inclusion, but I also want to make sure that we don't somehow allow them off the hook by giving us symbolic gestures when there is no political change in the mindset and the climate. So we just have to be careful, that's all, because they will offer you alternatives to real and substantive change. So we have to get beyond, it's like celebrating Dr. King. At some point we have to stop celebrating Dr. King and start replicating Dr. King. So there will be a lot of discussion in a few weeks about I Have a Dream, what Dr. King would call today a nightmare. So we have yet to fulfill Dr. King's dream. We're nowhere even close. And so sometimes we get lost in the celebration without committing ourselves to really healing this racial discrimination and devastation.
Great words to end the night.
Amen.
We want to thank you all for being with us. And please remember to like, subscribe, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. This is very important. So go to our YouTube page, Neutral Voices Network, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. Please stick with us tomorrow for our Wednesday night NV In Depth Live at 8:30. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Chase 405 is the freeway, slinging my, banging my, swinging my coup. DeVille, school.